We have gone from a will they, won't they cut to how much will they cut? Jeffrey Gunlock, I talked about in the Daily Financial News today, is calling for 6 rate cuts in the next 12 months. I've seen as high as 8 rate
Yeah.
cuts in the next 12 months. Yeah, it's really wild to watch the market kind of go, they take an inch and then they ask for a foot, right? So it's like, no, we don't
Yeah.
want one. We want 6 to 8 of them and give them to me now. It's kind of wild. As we discussed in the Daily Financial News, the 10-year note is below 4%. As I saw yesterday, the 30-year mortgage was resting at 6.7%. It is my very educated guess that we are going sub 6.7 by the afternoon. I wanted to know what is going on with lending because it's clear that people expect rate cuts. The 10-year is down. We might even get some collapse in the spread. Where are rates going? What's going on, Dustin? Convoy Home Loans. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing well, man. I got to tell you, this dip below 4% feels more meaningful than the one we had back in February. This one feels like a trend is intact, and just curious what you're seeing, what the buzz is. I know yesterday was the end of the month, which I'm sure is complete chaos, but now you wake up on the first and you're like, damn, rates are down. They're almost down 20 basis points in 2 days.
You nailed it right on the head. Ultimately, there's a different buzz around the industry, but I think obviously amongst consumers, future homeowners, current homeowners, investors as well. Because when we had this back in February, I don't know the exact amount of time, but it was a very short
It
blip. It
was
may
it
have
was
been
it
1 week
days.
maximum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Um, but now seeing the number 3 handle in front of not only the 10-year, but the 5-year, because reminder
Oh
to the
yeah.
listeners, like our uh, bulk of business done by Convoy Home Loans is on the non-QM side. And we do look
Yep.
at the 5-year, not the 10-year.
Yep.
And, seeing a 3 in front of it for not seeing a 3 in front of it for whatever it's been 6 months now
Right.
is obviously really nice to wake up to, but the buzz around the fact this trend might actually be the reason is
Right.
different than what it was in February. No secret yesterday. We knew Feds weren't going to move. Um, Everybody was looking to, you know, are they going to share anything about September? Is it going to be November? Same kind of story. Let's see if inflation gets there and we'll do it in September, possibly. I'm kind of hoping for November. Um,
Yeah, me
Kind
too.
of, we'll see what happens, but that we can touch in a little bit more. That, snowball of rates being cut by the Feds is going to start at some point.
Hmm.
If you look back in the history, like they don't just cut rates once and then not cut them again, right? So once
Yep.
that
Yep.
snowball happens, I think that's why the sentiment and the buzz right now is a lot higher than it's been realistically all year.
Yeah, the other thing for folks to watch, I didn't talk about today, Bank of England actually did their first cut today. So we're seeing a cut cycle start with all major banks. I think Bank of Switzerland's already done 2 or something like that. Canada has started. So again, the US is coming in last place, at least I think in this one. Will it be September? Will it be November? We'll see. But I think you're absolutely right. We have gone from a will they, won't they cut to how much will they cut? Jeffrey Gunlock, I talked about in the Daily Financial News today, is calling for 6 rate cuts in the next 12 months. I've seen as high as 8 rate
Yeah.
cuts in the next 12 months. Yeah, it's really wild to watch the market kind of go, they take an inch and then they ask for a foot, right? So it's like, no, we don't
Yeah.
want one. We want 6 to 8 of them and give them to me now. It's kind of wild.
No, it is. And one thing that I've had a pretty good long conversation with one of my clients yesterday that is full-time job is day trading. Okay. And we got into it and I wanted to share this that a big reminder when the Feds do start cutting rates, quarter point, half a point, even if it's half a point in November and nothing in September, whatever it might be, right? It isn't always going to be a direct correlation with where mortgage rates are. So if the Feds
Correct.
cut it half a point, mortgage rates aren't going down half a point. Now, on the other side of the coin, I've spoken with a lot of executives on, like Fannie Mae's board and a lot of our investors that we sell to, that spread, believe it or not, there's a good chance if feds do cut rates significantly, let's say I'm going to say significant over the next 2 years is 125 to 200.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll buy that.
The spread is probably not going to get thinner.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, it might get a little bit
Wider.
wider, right?
Okay.
Until it settles out for a little bit. They're not going
Mm,
to jump to, they'll keep the spread probably the same. They might even increase a little bit because the feds are dropping a lot quicker than they can stomach, right?
mm.
But that's the reason behind, hey, look, feds for federal fund rate isn't a direct correlation to mortgage rates. And don't be upset if you're like, wait, feds drop rates half a point. You quoted me 6.75 last week. Why isn't my rate six and a quarter?
Well, I mean, I'll go one step further. The mortgage market reprices very, very quickly. And just look at the 10-year note. All Jerome Powell said yesterday was we may have our first rate cut in September. And we dropped 21 basis points in 2 days. Folks,
Yeah.
that is a rate cut. It's already priced in. I mean, it moves so much faster than people really realize. They really front run what the Fed's going to do.
Yeah, and we've said it so many times. It's baked in before the Fed meeting happens. The only time there's a big shock is if there's a shock, right? If
Right.
we
Yeah.
all know quarter points coming and he does a half or he does none, that's going to move it really, really, wide.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, when I'm looking at the second half of the year, I still think home purchases are going to be slower than normal. I think there's a lot of I'm going to wait till after the election stuff. But if you start getting rates, in the low sixes, your refi demand is probably going to pick up. I know there's lots of people going after FHA and VA streamlines because again, there's a whole swatch of people that got sevens and eights for mortgages. I actually expect rates coming down to kind of jumpstart the refi business, but maybe I'm out of line.
No, I would agree with that. I don't know yet per se. Nobody does, but ultimately, going into a what do we have? Month and a half left of summer, right?
Yep. Yep.
Normally during the holidays, this isn't a secret. Everybody knows that transactions go down. But
Right.
I can tell you that my best bet would be transactions aren't going to go down as much during this holiday season if we see rates go down to high fives or lows. It's just not going to happen.
That's the number. I agree
Yeah.
with you entirely. If for some reason mortgage rates have a five handle on it,
Oh, it's going to be chaos.
bananas.
But yeah, I don't
Bananas.
want it that soon. Yes, it would be good for my
No, let's be
business. Yes,
very
it would be
clear.
good for my paycheck. I don't want that.
We need to
You
heal the
know,
housing market. My
thank
goodness.
you. Please.
Can we just have a normal housing market for let's
Yeah.
wait to get let's have a five handle in February. How about that? Let's just wait till
I'm fine
February.
with end of 2025. Don't shoot me if I'm making,
Wow,
your
that's awesome.
but I'm much
Yeah,
I've
just chill
been
out,
through it.
right?
Yeah,
Uh,
thank you.
let's get to the other side. Let's have actually, you know what? That's the right answer. If you want to have a shot at fixing the housing market, meaning unlocking the move up buyer, giving the first time homeowners a chance, you can't have a five handle until 2026.
Yeah.
The problem is with 6 to 8 rate cuts coming, I don't know
Ow.
that we're going to wait that long. I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah. We can't make the spread that much bigger than it is right now. I mean, if it
The
goes up
spread's
enough,
not going to go
the
to
spread,
450 basis points.
yeah, exactly.
Oh man. So I am curious. It's only been 24, 48 hours. I'm going to ask all my lenders this week, like, has the phone started ringing? Emails come in, either people repricing loans or maybe, hey, I'm going to go write some more offers. What's going on? Because this rate move has been pretty quick. It may have been too quick for people to respond, but thought I'd ask.
Yeah, from Wednesday, which was yesterday, we're filming this video on Thursday. They're
Yesterday.
Thursday morning. Yesterday was we couldn't really focus on no new business, but just because it's the last day of the month, we're
Right.
closing, sending
Closing.
wires, selling, etc. Right.
Right.
This
Right.
morning, do I have a lot more than the usual Thursday morning? Hey, where are rates at? Did rates go down? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the
That's
benefit,
that's that's marginal demand. That's consumer behavior right there.
yeah. And I don't know what it is across the country, but for everybody that's listening that has a rate locked in, a good rule of thumb, number one is ask whoever you're working with, your loan officer, bank, etc. Hey, I know I'm locked in. Can I float down my rate? Because that is a
A thing.
policy.
Yep.
There's yes. So ask that. A lot of times it's going to have to be at some, most are going to be 0.25. If rates have dropped a quarter point since you've locked, they'll let you float it down for free. Some will just kind of be more of a relationship, base. I've had a client that I spoke offline this morning. Rates went down for him 20 basis points from Tuesday, and we're rejoined docs for that on a DSCR loan. So ask your loan officer, ask your bank, whoever it
Yeah.
might be, see if a float down's available.
Yeah, this is awesome. This is going to be really interesting because one of the things I keep telling my audience, which is predominantly real estate investors, house hackers, things of that nature, is as demand kind of steps away, it's time to do the work, write disrespectful offers. I'm hearing more and more people get significant discounts on old listings, right? Days on market over 30, over 45, some even over 70 days. So folks got to work with lenders to make sure they understand their numbers. And with rates moving so quickly, they really got to have a relationship. So how should somebody reach out to Convoy?
Yeah, just go to convoyhomeloans.com, click the drop down, mention you came from ORaaT. That way you can speak with John or myself.
Yeah, folks, again, you got to tell them you came from ORaaT. So you get Dustin here or his partner in crime, Jonathan. These are the two guys you want to work with. Don't get stuck in the queue. Being in the queue is good for no one. Dustin, you're amazing, man. Have fun today.
Thank you. You too.